Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Inside Lowell Daily Pulse, the Friday, June 27th edition of the Daily Pulse. I'm your host, Teddy Panos, coming here from the Well Point Studios, ready to wrap up another week of the Daily Pulse, another week at Inside Lowell. And of course, you know, Fridays, we've either got the Pod Squad we're having fun with, or you don't need more than one to have fun when Leslie Bodor's in the house.
Hey, everyone.
My every other Friday morning sidekick.
Yes.
Or side chick.
Side chick.
On the radio.
I love that.
Glad to have you here, Bodor.
Yeah.
Can you turn off the shirt?
What do you think, folks? I'm ready for the 4th.
Where's the?
I'm rocking my Nancy Reagan red.
Where's the usual dark black, the pitch black shirt and hat? You know, the darkness like your soul.
Like my soul. Yes. Well, I've been wearing black since last Wednesday. So I thought today. Same outfit. I haven't changed. I haven't washed. I haven't done a thing.
I thought I smelled something.
You're welcome.
What do we owe the bright, vibrant Bodor today?
Well, I'm finally over the Karen Reed decision.
Oh, you're done mourning? Yeah,
I'm done mourning. Yeah. I threw that underwear out. Not lucky.
You're good luck.
They're not
Good
lucky.
luck underwear. Did you throw it in the pile next to Meatball Morrissey's and Adam Lally's underwear?
Well said. Well said. But I rest only on the fact that I watched that trial and Hank Brennan did all he could. He absolutely did all he could. And the jury just didn't see it. There was too much reasonable doubt for them. And that's how they came up with it.
Case was doomed from that morning. We're going to talk a little bit. This is your first appearance since the Karen Reed verdict. Thankfully, we don't have to talk about it anymore after today.
Yeah.
We've got going to get your thoughts on Lowell has a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
We're making him a Lowellian. I don't care what anybody says. Escape from New York as I'm headlining it. All sorts of other stuff to talk about as well. We'll get right to it with Leslie Bodor here on this Big Fun Friday Daily Pulse. First, let's thank our Daily Pulse sponsor, shall we? Ray Booten, licensed realtor in Mass and New Hampshire, certified appraiser in both states as well. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, a business, or a commercial property, Ray Booten is the one you need to talk to. And it's easy enough to find him, gang. realestaterayBooten.com. That's realestaterayBooten.com. Who was the genius that came up with that nickname and that website?
It's stuck.
Yeah, it works every now and then. Even a stop clock is right twice a day. Thank you as well to our friends at Well Point, the only health plan offering healthcare benefits exclusively to Massachusetts GIC members at Well Point. Your whole health is their whole point. Thanks to Well Point. Thanks to Ray. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. And of course, thanks to Leslie Bodor for coming on in and heckling me during my sponsor. It's usually you wait till we get the prevention to the prevention one before you start. It's all right. I like the background chatter. Hey, before we get into any of the news, you're noticing my shirt here, right? My Inside Lowell polo shirt. And if you don't have man boobs like I do, it looks even better on you or ladies on your man if you want to purchase a gift. And right now, you have until July 3rd to purchase some of the Inside Lowell swag that you see the hosts and some of the guests who we gave them out to early in our infancy. You got the long and short sleeve T-shirts are available. We didn't picture the short sleeve.
I like the collared shirt.
Yeah, the polo shirt that I'm wearing right now looks great on a golf course or even you're out at a cash function.
Yeah.
And of course the Bill Belichick hoodie. You may get yourself a 24-year-old bimbo if you get a hooded sweatshirt.
You got to cut that up a little bit, though. Make it look, cut the sleeves off. Just wear it as a bib.
Well, there's a big market in the gorilla industry. They want, if you're a knuckle dragger, that's is going to fit you. But the Inside online store is now open. Best way to find the link, just get to our Facebook page. We've got it pinned up at the top. Yes, you do. You got from now until next Thursday, July 3rd. Orders will be placed in bulk. And then you're going to have, if you don't do it now, you're going to have to wait till another 3 months, at which point we'll add some more swag and stuff.
Wonderful.
But lots of good stuff. Inside Lowell is where it's at. It's happening. And we are the place that everybody turns to for their local news. We broke a ton of it during the course of the week, so we want to chat about that with Leslie. But again, we have to
Why the long face, did he?
Why the long face? Does Karen Reed still have a long face now that
I haven't
she's
seen
got
it.
her life back and she's freed?
I haven't seen it.
Minus the civil trial that she still has to face. So I don't know if you saw the podcast with Dan Shanahan.
I did.
Shandog, aka the Hair.
Yes.
It is now
He's
by
excellent.
far the most watched podcast
Oh,
in Inside Lowell
Yeah.
Bailey Paul's history.
Well,
I don't
he's an
know.
attorney, yeah.
I don't know what happened. I don't know if some Karen Reed fans shared it to a group and people are watching it. I don't know if people just said, "Wow, he's got a great set of hair."
Set of hair.
They weren't kidding in the radio days when they called him the Hair, but he's got a great head of hair.
Yeah, he does.
Maybe that's why everybody's watching. But he's almost lapped the field
Well, that's pretty
in
good.
terms of Daily Pulse views
Yes.
and downloads. So, but he kind of he said what you said. He said Hank Brennan did all he could, and Adam Lally did all he could. That case was lost with the investigation, but also, he said, with the over prosecution. The second they tried to pin a second-degree murder, now that jury has to really think of,
Yeah.
is there enough reasonable doubt to send this woman to jail for
Yeah.
a long time? Had they gone for OU manslaughter
5
from the
minimum.
get-go, right? Because even their theory, was kind of a tragic accident, right?
No.
When all of a sudden, they kind of changed it, but their original theory was tragic
She
accident.
hit him on purpose. She didn't. It wasn't a tragic accident.
She didn't touch her. She didn't touch her. And now you've got 2 juries that refuse to say she hit him on
That's
purpose.
correct.
But they got her for OUI.
That's correct. She admitted that.
So,
So it's a first offense. That means she has to take the program. She'll lose her license for a bit.
but she's been. I heard she was without a license already
Well, she might have been
because of the charge,
well,
right?
she failed the alcohol test 9 hours later
Mm-hmm.
too. So at the time of the event, there's no discussion there. She was drunk.
Well, she could have just said I was drinking when I got home.
Yeah, she could have. Yeah.
Which might have been
I
smart
don't think
in
people buy that
retrospect,
anymore, but yeah.
Yeah.
It worked.
But
It tried to work once, but it didn't work. It made national news though, because I know about that.
it did. But it's funny to hear the jurors come out and speak, though.
The first one, I wanted to punch her in the face.
The Brazilian,
Like I want to
woman?
punch her right in the face.
Oh, I loved her.
I hate her.
She was great. And then
And her reasoning was wrong.
the
Number
jury
one,
foreman.
I could tell you, after her, I shut everything off. I
Really?
watched 3 years of The Sopranos, and there were 7. I've done the first 3 seasons. I literally have gone into a bit of a slump because Facebook went party time, Pink was everywhere, FKR, which I thought was the right F, instead it was free.
Yeah, you get the wrong.
I literally thought, I'm
had the
like,
wrong
yes, I'll
four-letter
get on that
F word.
one. And then
You
I
had
went, hold on, it's Pink.
You had the wrong 4-letter
Yeah,
F word.
it was free. I thought it was the other one, which actually is more of my stance on it. But I couldn't watch the victory laps. Some people had parties, solo cups, the whole 9 yards, and we've lost sight of what happened here.
And that, just go back to the OJ trial. Same thing. People were celebrating.
Well, let me
out in
throw
the
this at you.
streets, and it's like,
OJ
somebody died.
OJ was acquitted too, Teddy.
I know.
OJ was
I know.
acquitted too, and OJ killed her and the boyfriend.
And the civil jury found that he was responsible
and
for
never
the
paid a
death.
dime.
And I wonder if, he did lose his Heisman Trophy.
He lost the Heisman Trophy, but he never lost his pension. He didn't lose his football pension. It was $700 plus a year.
Yeah, but he lost the thing that was most important to him: fame, being OJ, walking around and
juice.
being the juice on the golf
Well,
course and whatnot.
he deserved every bit of it.
By the way, he was a phenomenal Twitter follow for a while. OJ during COVID was phenomenal with
Was
his
he?
videos, and he would start giving takes. He did his own Daily Pulse before there was a Daily Pulse, just on world affairs. It was really great.
Was he masking it?
Oh, no, he was almost always in a golf cart.
Of course.
I don't know if he had a golf cart at home or he just lived on a golf course. But
Yeah.
the tragedy is there was a beloved cop
Yeah.
that died.
Yeah.
And a family that feels that they didn't get justice.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe, who knows if in time, I don't think any new evidence is coming up. I think,
no.
I think if nobody's flipped
The
by
standard
now.
for finding guilt is lower at a civil trial. It's more likely than not, as opposed to
Right.
reasonable doubt.
Correct. There was an interesting thing I heard on the Howie Carr show this
good. Okay.
week, where there was talk about the closed FBI investigation, which I thought the FBI announced was closed. And then someone said on the Howie Carr show, the FBI never tells you. They tell you when they've got an investigation
That's
going.
a good point.
But they never tell you when an investigation is closed. So who let it leak that it was closed? And they were saying that was Hank Brennan who said that.
Mm-hmm.
But the investigation may not be closed. Now, I don't believe that, but is there a chance the FBI is continuing to look at this behind the scenes and that the investigation is closed?
No, it's closed. They have the person that did it. She got away with murder.
The FBI doesn't think they have the person who did it, though, because they're experts. The ARCA
Well, it depends on who you ask now. The
FBI
FBI is in disarray right now, so it depends on who you're asking over there.
That's true. They're busy trying to go after the jihadists.
Just go to New York City.
And the New York Mayoral. But,
well, that's a doozy.
But the Karen Reed case is thankfully over.
With the Brazilian chick, what she cited as her evidence was summation. You cannot use summation in your finding of guilt or innocence. You can't use the opening statements and you can't use summation. And she quoted Jackson's summation. And nothing about a canine was brought in except a canine tooth that could have been from an animal, not a dog. Well, you couldn't say dog during the trial. He said dog in summation. Yes, but she never said dog. She had to say animal bite. I saw the voir dire for that. They had a separate little hearing for her, and she was not allowed to say dog bite. Animal bite only. In his summation, he said dog bite. And you can't do that. And she took dog bite and went to town with it, and she can't use that as evidence because it was summation.
So Brennan didn't argue that? Didn't object?
Yeah, that's my question. That's my question. Should, during summation, and he has every right in the world to, should he have objected during summation? And it is possible to do. You can do it.
Because Bev would have upheld it. The jury.
That's correct.
Both she and the jury foreman kept saying there was certain witnesses where Brennan objected 49 times.
He had to, because
all of them were sustained by the judge. They thought Judge Cannone, or Cannone,
Alan Jackson tried to try it through question. He knew he couldn't get that evidence in. He absolutely knew he wasn't allowed to get that evidence in. So during trial, when he can't get in trouble, he decides to ask the leading question, and he has to object.
Correct, but the jury wants to hear those answers, and that's what these two jurors are saying. We want to know, why do you keep objecting? We want to know where this is going. Yeah. And they ultimately felt that the judge had put her finger on the scale. At least these two that spoke.
No, and I feel bad because Judge Beverly Cannone is very widely respected, and this group of
before this trial, yes,
and this group of pink-eyed people have seriously distorted her reputation because they don't like her. There's a woman in blue went to the O'Keefe's family home and danced in front of their camera.
Yeah, that was kind of disgusting.
That got on Inside Edition. Yeah. I mean, that made national news. Yeah. But that's what we're dealing with. And when I heard the cheers out front, I just thought, oh, we're so lost in society. We've become a Kardashian world. I'm living in a Kardashian world. And I'm not a Kardashian girl. I'm sorry. I don't get it. I don't understand it. When she started rattling off summation, I just shut my TV off and I went deep into the mob, Teddy, where it made sense to me. Well, there were rules in the mob, Teddy. Omerta.
Thankfully for you and for the rest of the world, it's all over. Yeah. Except for the O'Keefe family, which is left.
It's just begun.
Either wondering or thinking my son's killer, my brother's, my uncle's killer is on the loose, and she's not going back to a private life. She can't.
She doesn't want one, Teddy. She's literally going to be back in front of that camera, telling her story because she can't shut up.
Yes, she is.
And it didn't even hurt her. She's going to
monetize it too.
She certainly is.
She'd be wise to wait until after the civil case is decided.
She might, because
before she monetizes. I also think she'll have to give it away.
This time, let's put it in Pittsfield. Seriously, we need to change a venue. There's no way that this is not a cancer in Canton.
Should have been a change of venue right from the get-go.
It should have been out in Pittsfield, somewhere out in the western part of the state.
Right from the get-go.
100%.
Speaking of changes in venue, we got the number for Lowell High. They probably should have changed that venue. Did you watch any of that meeting and whatnot? And if you read the
I read your
Kevin
Inside
Bacon
Lowell
story, the 47 million was the number, which they negotiated down. They worked really hard to negotiate that down to 40, and they're still working. And I am told that there are people who are fighting like heck to try to get that number down even further. And I would start with not letting them touch that 14.75 million contingency.
Right.
fee from Skanska.
It's never going to end. They're just going to deep pockets, and they get you over a barrel. They think
they do. And so here was one of the interesting things that came out that I haven't had a chance to really get into yet. So they said, so everything now is the new delay that's causing a year delay is the foundation under the building where they did only 1 or 2 borings, which I got some thoughts on that. And that level of incompetence is not possible for a firm like Skanska, which has done millions of big projects like this and is doing the work. That is intentional malfeasance. That is political malfeasance. That is not, and it's not them. They were told what to do. And I'll get into that at some point. But they said 1.75 million is the cost to fix the foundation.
Well, pouring the foundation is the most important part of the foundation. It's you can't build a house without a strong foundation.
So they said 1.75 million.
Okay.
So the rest of it
is what?
Labor.
Get out.
Labor. So one of the things I noticed, there's a line item for the architects. There's a line item for. So didn't the architects already design the building?
Yes.
Why do they need to be on site when this work is done?
No.
They don't need an extra year.
No.
They've already done their work, have they not?
That's correct.
And again, I'm not a construction expert, but can't we find just like a local architect to keep it up? Doesn't Skanska have an architect on
Let's call Matty Ty and get his California boy brother, the fabulous architect, his brother, and have him come. He's doing the Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, how about John Haley from oh God, I'm drawing a blank on their.
I wouldn't know.
What's their? Oh God, it's a huge environmental. But they're also an architectural and contracting firm. They've done buildings for the Pentagon, for the Department of Defense in Virginia and in
we had a
DC.
plane at the Pentagon.
He's on the school building committee. Watermark. I knew it was a W, but I drew a blank.
Very good.
I've been watching him at the school building committee meetings, and he's brilliant. And he was the one who said, how many borings did you guys do? Like industry standard is industry standard.
Of course it is. It is, yes.
And then again, they almost let them off the hook the other night when they said, well, we did 11 borings throughout the building, and everyone kind of let that go. And then finally, Councilor 𝐋𝐞𝐬𝐥𝐢𝐞 asked the follow-up question, which I'm shocked Councilor Robinson didn't, or somebody else go, so you did 11, where were those 11? And they admitted that 9 of them were in the new build.
Oh.
And 2 were in the old build.
The 2020 building? 22 building?
Well, where the Lord building was. And the gym.
Okay.
So they did 9 test borings there, which is where the new construction is, and 2 in the part that already had a foundation.
Okay. So they were relying on old foundation?
That's
no.
Again, that is incompetence that is so out there that it's not incompetence. That's intentional. That's look the other way, Ray. My old car inspection mechanic. Not Ray Booten. Look the other way, Ray. Just didn't want to.
We didn't want
to see that crack engine block.
Do you know the majority of this country does not have vehicle inspection? The majority of this country.
That's right.
We are forced every year to do this, and it's not necessary. And it's not necessary for equipment.
It's a good fundraiser for the state.
It's
bull. Another tax.
It's bull.
It's another tax.
It's bull. Get rid of it.
But I will say to Jim Dowd, the poor punching bag from Skanska, I do feel for you, Jim, and I know you're dying to tell the truth. I can see it. I could see it on your face the other night. I see it on your face every time that you're just slapped around as if this is your fault. And I know it's not. I know politically this was also forced on you as well. If at any time you want to talk, if at any time you want to have your Jack Nicholson, Colonel Nathan Jessup moment,
you can't handle the truth,
good men. If you want Lowell, I think a part of Lowell is ready to handle the truth, and the part that can't handle the truth needs to hear the truth. Because this thing, if you think Beverly Canome tipped her finger on the scale of justice in the Karen Reed trial, you should see what was done in 2017 to the 2 different proposals for the.
Well, new construction doesn't have this issue.
And he said it the other night. He said, well, it's old construction. And he talked about, well, we plan a 3% contingency on new construction, 5% on old. We did 7% for this one. Ooh. We're at 11. We're at 20. He's throwing all these numbers out. So he knows that old construction is more expensive.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you tell us that in 2017? Who muzzled you? Who muzzled Marianne Williams? I want to know. Do I have to file Freedom of Information requests on the emails that went back and forth from the MSBA and Treasurer Goldberg and Lowell's political elite? Do I have to file Freedom of Information, or somebody just want to be like Jack Nicholson and say, you know what? You're goddamn right. I ordered the code red. I told them not to drill in that building.
Wall.
Mr. Dowd, I'm your friend. I'm tired of watching you get punched around, knowing that you're taking the hit for other people.
Where's he from?
He's from Lowell.
Oh,
He's a Lowell guy.
He can take a punch.
And he knows he has to do it. He's getting slapped around. By the way, there was a Sean Edwards sighting. He was at the meeting Tuesday night after I'd been saying, where is he? Do we need to put him on a milk carton? Somebody took a photo of him in the background. And sure enough, Sean Edwards was at the city council meeting the other night. But I want you guys, I'm offering you carte blanche. And you know I'm with you. You know I don't think you're that incompetent. I think you're more than competent. I think your companies are more than competent.
Absolutely.
And I think you were politically had your hands cuffed and told what you could and could not say, because if you told people in 2017 that they were looking at a $400+ million project
and a delay
and a 2-year delay. Yeah, let's not mistake it. It's been a 2-year delay.
The children did it.
It might have been a different. It was always for the kids. Bodor, it was always
My kids
for
will
the
benefit
kids.
too.
Yeah, your kids will benefit.
It's painful.
Who did I have in here
It's
the other
painful.
day? Jackie Doherty. Who, by the way, I asked her, if you had it to do all over again, would you make the same decision? And she said yes. But she said, I'm hoping I have grandkids and they get to go. they get to go to school. Hopefully they got another what? If your son starts work soon, Jackie. Within 15 years, your kids.
You'll be all set.
And hopefully the project will be done by then.
The project that the public school system,
At a cost of $1 billion.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Anyway,
Jackie did a great show. She was great, and thank you, Jackie, for all you've done.
Yeah, and as she pointed out, she had to deal with some barbs from the media, including me. I remember they were sure she got beat up on. But I admire anybody who does it because that's part of the job.
Putting your name down, man.
When you got an active newspaper, an active radio station, and now an active website.
Yeah. With swag.
This is going to happen with our own swag. If you want to beat up your local politicians this campaign
walk in with that little gem.
wear your InsideLowell shirt and teach them a lesson.
Listen, if you want a synopsis of what's going on, too, you don't have to watch these meetings. Just go to InsideLowell.
Right.
And it's right there for you, because I can't watch the meetings. I just can't do it.
My poor kids the other night, is this meeting over yet? It's like 9:45.
Bless them.
Dad, are you still watching the city council meeting? I'm like, yes, I am.
Yep.
Sorry. But it's actually funny. They'll sometimes they recognize the voices. And then one time I was watching a school committee meeting, and you could hear Danny Rourke, and he goes, "It's not Tuesday night. Why is Mayor Rourke on there?"
You're kidding.
So now he recognizes
Now he
Mayor
picked up
Rourke,
on
and
that?
it's down. Yeah.
Jesus.
My kids are no dummies. They're politically active. He may have voted for Kamala Harris in the Hellenic American Academy School election.
Children get their intelligence from the female.
No doubt. And my kids got their looks from their mom, too. But thankfully, they got my height. So they got the best of both worlds.
Women also passed on the bald gene.
I don't think they get their politics from their father either. 'Cause did I tell you that little Benedict Arnold, who I changed his shitty diapers, went and voted for Kamala Harris in the Hellenic American Academy School election?
Winning?
Yeah.
You're kidding?
Yeah. It actually finished in a tie.
But he voted for a woman?
But he voted for Kamala Harris, yeah.
To be president of the United States, period.
I got to keep him away from his great-grandparents. Too much MSNBC in the house.
That's the place to be. I walk into Fox and speaking of Fox, we got a little lecture from the podium the other day from the Secretary of State or whatever the hell. He gave a pity party and a lesson to the press, and he whacked his own guy.
If you guys want to wave the Iranian flag, why do you have to?
Don't say it was completely illiterate. He used a big word, and he didn't mean the big word.
And it was, though. Now we're getting the reports, and including from the International Nuclear Agency or Atomic Energy Agency, whatever they call it, says it's gone.
They're out of business for a while.
They're out of business, yeah.
So obliterated.
So why would CNN put that fake story out? I don't know. I'd like
not fake, folks.
Anyway, you're tuned into the Daily Pulse, the Inside Lowell Daily Pulse, the show that keeps its finger on the pulse of Lowell and the world around it. We'll get back to the discussion with Leslie Bodor in a quick minute. Let's just thank our Daily Pulse sponsors first, shall we? Of course, we start with Ray Booten, licensed realtor, Mass and New Hampshire. Find him online, realestaterayBooten.com. Thanks as well to WellPoint at WellPoint. Your whole health is their whole point. Washington Savings Bank, banking that goes the extra mile. Make the switch now to Washington Savings Bank. TMI Properties, quality and value at every price point. Find your perfect space with TMI. Mahoney Oil, providing warmth and protection to Greater Lowell and Southern New Hampshire since 1925. It's Filler Up Friday, so fuel your weekend travels wherever they may take you with Mahoney Oil gas station. Conveniently located on Plain Street, just off the Lowell Connector. Bodor just discovered that I put a little filter over the lights. Took you long enough. You're quick, Bodor.
It used to be blue.
Thank you as well to the Greater Lowell Community Foundation, improving the quality of life in Greater Lowell through strategic, impactful philanthropy.
Speaking of TMI,
Fantasy Prevention.
FEPINS.
FEPINS.com is their website.
That's
Insure
TMI.
your most valuable assets with the agency Greater Lowell has counted on since 1982. And, of course, by the Massachusetts Pirates, bringing all the hard-hitting action and excitement of arena football to the Mill City. Winners of 4 in a row now. They look to make it 5 in a row tomorrow night on the road. They're back at the Skanska Center for a Thursday night game. Some fireworks on July 3rd at the Skanska Center. Massachusetts Pirates, they're hot, and they're almost in the playoffs right now. You know, it's coming. By the way, did you see that the Pirates signed a Tagovailoa?
No.
Not Tua from the Miami Dolphins, but his brother,
No kidding.
Talia,
I
who
love
is
those
a great
names.
quarterback. He actually backed up Tua and Mac Jones on Alabama before transferring to Maryland.
Oh, roll tide.
So that he could play. But the Pirates have a Tagovailoa.
Well, take
and
it.
who knows? Maybe his
Is he related to Moti Tutupu?
same island.
I know. The names are fabulous.
But maybe Tua will come up and watch his brother play in Lowell.
Wouldn't that be great?
At the Skanska Center. Get to it, Jawad. Get to it. Massachusetts, Adrian Figueroa, Jawad Yateem. We want Tua to come watch his baby brother.
Hey, we have famous
Play at
people
the
in this
Skanska.
city all the time.
Hell, we do. What a segue, Bodor. What a segue, because Lowell, of course, is the home of Hall of Famers.
We certainly are.
By the way, Lowell basketball player Terrence Mann traded the other night, right?
Yes.
Part of that Celtics trade.
Yes.
Of that was the Porzingis trade.
Yeah, and let's not
believe.
forget
Terrence Mann is going to Atlanta.
our goalie Halleback from the university.
Connor Hellebuck,
is
MVP
and the goalie.
the the Vezina Trophy
Yes.
for best goaltender in the same year. We just need to get him a Stanley Cup, though. Guy is snake bit in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know.
Guy is snake bit in the playoffs.
It's all right. Not Lowell, though. We won that year. Nationals.
Lowell skating. Of course, Zdeno Chara.
Chara, my
elected
guy.
this week. An easy decision to put Zdeno Chara
Put that man in skates.
in the Hall of Fame, but it reminded everybody that Zdeno Chara
Played
20 some odd games in 1998, 1999 for the Lowell Lock Monsters, the dearly
Best
departed
monsters.
Lowell Lock Monsters. May they rest in peace. But so
It smells like cigarettes.
you have a Lock Monsters hat?
Yeah, it was given to me. It smells like cigarettes, so I tossed it.
So if you go to InsideLowell.com,
Yes.
I actually have a story on it.
And a photo.
With a rare photo. I
big man.
looked and I looked for there was shots of Chara in an AHL All-Star uniform.
We didn't know what we had, Tim.
There was a bobblehead that put him in a fake uniform. There was a graphic that put a fake uniform on him, Lockman. But there was no photo of Zdeno Chara anywhere on the internet. Google Images, Getty Images, you name it.
Did he ever say in
I
that?
was going to steal him. Nobody had a photo of Chara in a Lock Monsters uniform. And then as I'm looking on Facebook, a guy, Peter Sheeran, had a photo. He was behind the net in the stands at the Skanska Center, and there was a face-off
He's huge.
on the net. And you can see Chara's bent over. You can't even see him. You can't see his number. You can't see the name on the uniform. But you can tell, hunched over, he's taller than everybody
taller
else
than
in
the
the
guy next to
face-off circle. What you clearly can see, however, is Roberto Luongo, who, by the way, I did a story on him when I was at WNDS Channel 50.
Jeez.
He stayed in Lowell for a year and a half. And because the Islanders had another local kid, Ricky DiPietro, in net. I believe he was an Acton Boxborough product.
Well.
But they drafted Luongo even after they had DiPietro or something. And so Luongo spent a little time in Lowell. So I did a story on him, but he and Chara crossed paths for a little bit in Lowell, and they are captured in one photo.
Yeah.
But I'm begging anybody out there, if you have a photo of Roberto Luongo or Zdeno Chara in a Lowell Loch Monsters uniform,
Big man.
please, 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 please
That'd
send
be
it
worth
to us.
some crank.
There are some of Luongo, but it was in the red Loch Monsters uniform when they had become a Carolina Hurricane
Okay.
affiliate.
Hey, speaking of prospects, there's a Greek. He's not Greek, though. He's from the African continent, but he was raised in Greece.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
That's his name.
Is there a hockey version of that?
No, but I wanted to point that out.
Giannis.
He can come from anywhere. His trading card, which is basketball, which is unusual.
Yep.
If you grab that early, that's worth some serious cash.
It's hysterical.
Yeah.
He still has he speaks fluent Greek.
Yep.
He was raised in Greece. And he speaks English with a Greek accent.
No, that's
great.
gonna be
It's
great.
hysterical. If you listen to his press conferences speaking English.
Because you wouldn't expect that.
It's fun. It's like listening to one of my family members.
One big melting pot. But he's the pride of that village in Greece. He's just, I've seen a documentary on him after his card sold. I saw a story about a kid that had collected it. The kid's worth millions, and he's 15 or something because he collects cards. He just has a knack for it. I wanted to punch him, but I want to punch a lot of people lately.
You're angry.
I'm wearing red, though. Righteous red.
Yes. But if you have a photo of Zdeno Chara, please send it to us here at Inside Lowell. Teddy Panos at InsideLowell.com. I even asked, so I went to my boy Sunshine.
Yeah.
Andrew Sunshine Moraes, because he was president of the Loch Monsters fan club. He was at every game when the Loch Monsters used to have a team in the dog sled races. He would be the guy riding in the sled.
That's awesome.
They would pull him.
Those were great.
And those were phenomenal.
The human sled race.
Make Winterfest great again.
Yeah.
Bring back the dog sled races.
The human sled.
I asked him if he had any photos of Chara in a Loch Monsters uniform. No.
I don't think photos and selfies were a big thing.
No.
I was the photograph taker in my family. I'm not in any of the photos, but the only reason my family's documented from the 70s on is because of me. When I graduated from college, there's no photo.
I got the wrong camera on.
Oh, that's all right. You don't need a close-up of me. But yeah, when I graduated from the university here, my father handed me my diploma. Professor Emeritus, Standing ovation. My grandfather Bodor was there. He shook my hand and slipped me 100. I'll never forget that day. I had Captain Flaherty from Lowell PD there. I had Captain Gookin from Lowell PD there. Captain Bonenberger from the state police. So I had a lot of people go to that. And I don't know. Go ahead.
Standing ovation for you or for your father?
For my dad, probably. But I ran over to him and we hugged and we got a standing ovation. But
Getting your diploma from your dad?
I got my diploma.
Cool.
He graduated from Lowell Tech.
I don't even remember who handed me my diploma.
My father did. In his cap and gown, which I have, which are mine. I have a master's in bachelor's in science. A master's too, but a bachelor's in science. And he has a science. So it's gold, tassel.
The apples don't fall apart from the trees.
I have it. I hope to wear it someday.
Yeah. All right. Hey, you wanted to give one more sports shout out, though.
Oh, yeah.
To the
our boys.
To the little guys.
Little League. We're going to the States.
Our 9 and 10-year-olds.
9 and 10-year-olds.
From Lowell Youth Baseball.
Ryan D. Rourke and Marty Ty and that whole crew. I've been to a couple of, Matty Lasher, and been to a few fundraisers for them. It's a great time.
Yeah. So in case you don't know what the hell Bodor and I are talking about, Inside Lowell earlier this morning, we shared the story of the Lowell 9 and under 9U baseball team. They hosted the district tournament at Shed Park.
Yes.
And they freaking kicked ass. I put dominated. I had originally written destroyed.
What's it called?
So it's called
Mercy
the Mercy Rule.
Mercy Rule.
Where if you're up by a certain amount of runs, by a certain inning, they just call the game.
That's what it is. I think it's 10.
They invoke the Mercy Rule in every single game. That's how dominant they were. Now they move on to the state.
Because we want to go to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know if they...
Little League World Series?
I think that's a little old. I think that one is a little in Williamstown.
Yeah, Williamsburg.
Yeah, that's a little. I think that's the older kids.
Oh, shoot.
Remember they used to have the 25-year-olds from Taiwan and Cuba who were competing.
The picture, he said he was 14.
Danny Almonte and stuff for New York City.
I remember it well.
Yeah, so the Americans started cheating. Everyone started cheating.
Remember the girl from Philly? The picture, the female girl from Philly.
Yeah.
She struck all those boys out.
Yeah.
Rock on, girl.
Rock on, girl.
But what are you going to do with that?
Unfortunately.
Softball in college, it'll get you a degree.
Right. Unfortunately,
that's about it.
She had nowhere to go. But the Lowell boy dominating last night. They win the championship. On to the States. Good luck to them. Congratulations.
Yes, to everyone
First of all,
involved.
to the boys, but also to the coaches for their dedication and the families, because as I am learning, so I was in Kingsborough last night.
Excuse me.
Where there was a mercy rule invoked on my son's.
On your son's team?
Oh, it was
or were you calling it yourself?
The parents were like, please.
Check what's in those mugs, by the way. It's not coffee.
Please let this end. But it's, it's a sacrifice for everybody. But, when you win, it makes the sacrifice.
Well, they're learning how to accept things. They're learning how to win and lose graciously, hopefully.
Yeah, and there were teams last year from Lowell. I forget which age bracket, but they also I think it might have been the same. I think they were the 8Us last year.
Jeez, if this kid
that are now the 9Us. They are one of their star pitchers is Danielle McFadden's son, Landry.
Get out.
You see him? Yeah, you can see him in the picture. Big beaming smile.
With his hair?
He's got no, you can't see the hair. So I wasn't sure if it was the Landry or Milo, the little one.
Yeah.
But he's got one of the biggest hats.
Is the brim straight?
The brim is straight, and it's
that's
like,
a look.
Yeah,
that's intentional. That's a look.
But that's a really good team, and you recognize all the names of the kids,
of course,
from their
second
parents
generations. Yeah. But what's interesting too is if this team can stay together and healthy, why can't we go to?
Why not? That's right. Because they dominated as 8-year-olds. They're I think they came up just short in the. I think they might have won the state tournament. I think they became state champs. And then I remember Danielle telling me the stories of going. I think they were in Rhode Island or something for the New England.
New England's, yep.
But let's keep it going. If it's the same group of kids, let's go.
I'll ride that train.
Keep knocking on that door. One of these years, you kick it in and you become
100%
national.
Why not?
Champions.
Why not us?
So, in terms of the news stories on my list, I'll ask you if you got any others you want.
No.
But I need to ask you as a good Democrat, and I jokingly call you Lefty Bodor instead of Leslie Bodor, but you're a centrist Democrat, more in the JFK mode. What do you make of New York's Democratic mayoral nominee? Let's just call him a Marxist. Let's call him what he is. He's a Marxist. He's an outright Marxist.
Well, socialism ends up turning into fascism eventually, because they take the
people don't want to live under that rule after a while, and you have to force them through a dictatorship.
A socialist as a
Zohan Mamdani.
Yeah, do you know where that name is from? I know it's a Muslim name. He's Muslim.
I believe he might be Indian.
Okay.
I think I saw he was Indian. It sounds
well. The Indians and Pakistanis are one people, but Pakistan left and became Muslim.
But he prevailed over former governor Andrew Cuomo.
That's the old game, the old crew, the old marching. Off you go. And he got backed by Bill Clinton. Right. Come on, dinosaurs.
So can I ask you, as a Democrat?
We're going to lose again. That's what's going to happen.
Why was that the nominee? He was... Remember, he was chased from the governorship in disgrace.
Dude, he did a video.
Why would you put him up as mayor of New York?
He's done videos
for mayor of New York. Is there no centrist Democrat, young, vibrant candidate?
Well, this guy's not centrist at all, because he calls himself a socialist.
Mamdani? Oh, yeah.
He wants free buses.
I appreciate that. Unapologetic. One grocery store, everybody shop from the same
he
grocery
wants
store.
the food deserts.
They control the food.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the bread lines in New York again. It'll be reminiscent.
Because
the last time we had them, they were black and white photos. Now we can get them in color and on social media. But, I mean, I'm rooting like hell. I said it to Asa Stutz last Tuesday.
That was so funny.
The day of the primary. I am rooting like hell for Zohan Mamdani. It needs to happen. New York needs to fall.
Yeah, but who do you want? The socialist or the other guy?
I want New York to fall. I want New York to fall. Because California has fallen, but it's so far out west, nobody realizes it. Plus, it's a 49-state buffer. 47. We're not going to count Alaska and Hawaii.
Sierra Nevada.
Yeah, it's just California. They were always their own country anyway, right? They had the fifth biggest economy in the world, right?
The highest gas prices in the country.
So what if San Francisco and Los Angeles are gone? Let it happen.
They are.
But if it happens in New York, which is, let's forget Washington, D.C., let's forget Philadelphia, let's forget Boston. New York City is the symbol of the United States of America. When people across the pond, my Greek relatives would come here, my mom's family, my dad's family, they wanted to go to New York. They didn't ask to go to California. They didn't ask to go to Chicago. They wanted to go to New York.
You're going to hop in a covered wagon and go west?
I don't think this country can rid itself of the scourge of Marxism, which so many young people who came out in support of this guy and are around the country, the AOC supporters, the Ayanna Pressley supporters, who hate capitalism and quite frankly hate America. The only way that they will understand it is when you have a sharp contrast staring you right in the face in your most symbolic city, New York City. The people in East and West Berlin knew it because they were looking at it every day. People in East and West Germany knew it because they were looking at it every day.
East Germany became communist.
Correct.
Yeah.
So they built the wall up not to have people stop going into communism. They built the wall to keep them from escaping.
That's correct.
That's what happens in communist country. That's why people get on a raft. Not even a raft. They fly the thing Kate Winslet was floating on in the Titanic. She could have made room for Leonardo DiCaprio.
Lie on top, babe.
She could have scooched her fat ass over a little bit.
Move that buckle, girl.
DiCaprio get on there, but she didn't. But look, their reason people get anything that floats and try to escape from Cuba to come to the United States of America.
Now we have a travel ban.
And it's not because capitalism sucks.
No, they're in a communist country too.
I think if New York stands as a shining example for 5 to 10 years of what can happen under that kind of rule, I think even academia would have to say, uh-oh.
Well, I see that. I see them also voting a Republican in as governor.
The Guardian Angels guy?
Oh, is that who's running?
Yeah, that's Stillwell or whatever.
Oh, is he the Red Beret idiot?
He's the guy that founded the Guardian Angels in New York City.
I know who that is.
And then the other one is Mayor Eric Adams, the incumbent. He's running as an independent. He's pardoned by Trump, so he doesn't go to jail.
That's correct.
Or framed, however you want to look at it.
I don't think he was framed. I think
because he didn't toe the line on the illegal immigrants.
Well, he gave P. Diddy the key to the city last year. He's not really up on things.
That's right. We gave Mike Tyson a key to Lowell.
That's true.
Sometimes you make mistakes.
And we applauded him. He was here not too long ago.
Sometimes you make mistakes.
Yeah.
But now this talk that Andrew Cuomo gets back in the race as an independent as well. Is that
Andrew needs to go.
Is that to sabotage? Is that to take Democratic votes away from the Zohan?
Yeah.
Don't mess with the Zohan?
Yeah. I think so.
Or is he going to take votes away from Adams? Are people who don't want Zohan going to say, I'm going to vote for Cuomo?
Jesus, it's like 1931 Germany. Seriously, you had a choice between socialism or communism, and they had to pick one. So they went with the Socialist Party, which are the Nazis, because they hated communism so much. Now we have this choice in New York City, the liberal bastion of everything this country is. I mean, industry, and it's miraculous what New York has become. But it's also become a lot of other things too. It's not always good to keep. I mean, everything can't be free, Teddy. People have to.
Well, because it's not free. There's a cost. It costs somebody.
Well said.
Yeah, free health care is free for the person who's getting it for free, but it costs somebody, the taxpayers, ultimately, and it also reduces the quality. We have now found it reduces the quality of the health care
I also think
that everybody is receiving.
Yeah, and what this country does is we look at the population in the city, for example. They're not homeless. These people aren't homeless. The two men that beg on Prescott and Merrimack every day, he lives in the Sun Building, and the other one comes down from High Street.
Really?
Yeah, the preacher and the blind guy. And every day they're in traffic. Every day they're in the center of Prescott Street. Every day they're walking up to cars in the second lane. And I've told him, get off the corner, but they don't listen to me. So I just walk and get my coffee. But I have to look at them. That's my view. Two guys that are homed. One just gets Keno money and the other one gets coffee money. It's
part of the urban experience, the downtown experience.
I guess so. People say, you move downtown, what'd you expect? But, I'd like it to rise up a little to my standard.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hell
Wouldn't that be nice? And this weekend, it looks like it. This week, it looked like it. The population of this city looked sophisticated.
Yeah, the convention of young professionals.
Unbelievable.
I noticed it yesterday, leaving the office and walking back to the...
I said hi to everyone. Hi, welcome. Hi. I could tell the indigenous people from the travelers. I knew who to say hi to.
Lowell stuck out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, Lowell did.
So this morning I was sent a Zoran for New York City campaign piece.
Okay.
And I looked it up, and it's real, because now you gotta double check on the internet. AI and
please do.
And these editing softwares and stuff. You don't know what's real and what's fake. But this is real.
Measure twice, cut once.
Reported by Newsweek and others.
Yeah.
And Newsweek is a leftist thing. It's not Fox News or OAN.
Fox Entertainment.
One of his tax reform packages, in big and bold, shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods.
Oh. He wants the 1% or the 10% to give to the 10%. What about us 80 in the middle?
Whiter neighborhoods.
Does
that mean
that's interesting coming from
Does that mean people who aren't white don't get rich, don't live in...
I don't think...
Why can't you just say from richer neighborhoods? Why are you differentiating?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Does that mean that not only am I going to go after the rich neighborhoods, but I'm going to find the whitest neighborhood, even if it's not rich, even if it's middle class, and I'm going to go after them? Is that what he's telling you?
I don't know. That's a great question. But we're so hyper-focused on the top 10% and the bottom 10%. The bottom 10% in this country, granted, the top 10% don't pay enough taxes. Jeff Bezos could pay more. Just saying. His ex-wife has given more than he's ever given in taxes. But having said that, I just think there's a difference. And I liked what I saw in the city the last 3 days very much. And I think that the city that's the vision the government and the governor should have for this city. It's walkable, it's doable, it's got professional teams, it's got an auditorium, a stadium, it's got
disposable income.
It's got a lot.
Gentrify Lowell. I'm with you.
Stop dumping people on us that don't want to be housed. Aren't we opening a women's shelter now? 120 beds. There aren't 120 homeless women in this city that want to be homed. Where are they going to come from? We're going to bring them in? To live on Church Street?
If you're going to build a building, you got to fill it.
The building's there.
You lose money.
Building's already there. It's one of my favorite buildings in the city. It's right on Church Street. The cut through when you go down, you can go down the court, by the court, you cut through and you come up to Church Street, that brick building right there. It's a one-story, beautiful gray stone. That's what they're looking at.
Oh, okay.
120 beds.
Well, I mean, look, if you're going to...
Is this Rosie's?
If you're going to put people who have graduated from...
into that.
From recovery homes and whatnot, I know, like in Megan's house, we've built a couple of houses, supervised clinical help,
maybe that's part of the plan.
People. I'm hoping that that's part of the plan. But you're right. If we're just opening it up to homeless, then you're going to have people come from all over, because they're not 120 homeless.
No, there aren't. And
there soon will be, though.
There may be, and they don't want to be housed all the time. And we're talking about people, and no offense, we look at these poor souls. Some of them aren't. They burned every bridge in their own family. Now they're shitting on my bridge. I don't like it. I come from some people that have gone this path in life. I don't talk to them. I don't want to talk to your family member either. I don't want to ask why your family member is sitting on the sidewalk begging me for money. Come get your man. Come get your boy.
Where's compassionate Bodor? Where's Lefty Bodor?
Last Wednesday, the light
You're going to
went
get kicked out of the next Greater Lowell area Democrats.
I have never been invited.
By the way, wrapping up the New York discussion, it further cements my belief, and I said this on the radio in 2020, and I'll say it here again. The Democratic Party nominee for president in 2028 will be Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. AOC will 100. I said it in 2020.
Okay.
The election of Zohan Mahmoudi shows that I'm on the right track. She will be your nominee, and I'll tell you why. Because Bernie Sanders would have been the nominee in 2016 and 2020 if they hadn't rigged it against him.
Yeah.
Bernie is now too old. She will pick up the mantle. But unlike Bernie, who when they smacked Bernie around and they stole things from him, he just shut up and he took it. And he said, all right, I'll just build another home somewhere. Maybe that's where he got his money to build all those homes. But she will not take it. If Donna Brazile or the next iteration of Donna Brazile gives the debate
She's tough.
questions
She's
to
tough.
the
Yeah.
establishment
She did.
centrist Democrat,
Yeah, she did.
and AOC finds out about it, there will be hell to pay. She will not say, "Thank you, sir, may I have another?"
Yeah. Well, I won't
like
be
Bernie
voting for
Sanders.
AOC.
Remember, you heard it here.
Yeah. No.
AOC will be the Democratic Party nominee. She will get the full-throated endorsement of Bernie Sanders.
Well, they
Came
go out as
close
the
as
tour
it was.
together.
Exactly. And he came, and you saw how close he came. I mean, he should never have been in the same arena as Hillary Clinton, and sure enough, he put a scare into her, and he was leading in 2020 to the point where they
Until
doctored Iowa and New
she
Hampshire
gave her New
results,
Hampshire.
and they said, "All right, we better coalesce behind the senile old man."
Yeah.
Because
I think
Bernie,
Bernie
we can't
would have
stop
won.
Bernie. They
I
tried
think
to give
he-
it to Pete Buttigieg,
Oh,
and he
Pete.
couldn't do it. He couldn't beat Bernie Sanders, so they quickly
I don't
coalesced
know.
around Biden.
Pete's pretty good. I'm getting Pete
You think?
Buttigieg is pretty good. Yeah.
Has he left family leave yet, or is he back to work?
Oh yeah, he had a
He's back
baby
to
with
work?
his husband.
Yeah, he had left work for like 8 months or something,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Yeah. You gotta. Come on, the world does it. We need to catch up. Men need to raise babies
Sure
too.
they do. Yeah, but and maybe men shouldn't accept.
Oh, you
such
mean
an
he didn't go
important
through
position.
labor? So why does he need the break?
No. I'm not sharing the memes of him breastfeeding while he was on family leave.
Oh, you're kidding?
No, they're
No.
out there. No. What I mean is he had a spouse, a partner that I don't believe was Secretary of Transportation. Now, maybe his partner was, defense secretary. I don't know. But one person took a very important role, a cabinet position, transportation secretary.
Yeah.
That person doesn't need family leave. I'm sorry. If there are certain positions where you can't take family leave,
Okay.
right? The president can't take family leave.
No.
As much as he should be able to by right, or she should be able to by right.
Yeah. No. It's the most important job in the world. You don't get a day off.
You've got to work,
Yeah.
right?
Should want to. You're president.
So should transportation secretary. So should defense secretary, labor secretary, etc.
Yeah, I agree with that. The heads of departments. Yeah, I agree with that.
But remember, I told you now, June
AOC?
27th, 2025, AOC will be
Well,
your party's
she
nominee.
may run. She may go up to New Hampshire. If we see her go to Iowa, we're in trouble.
She will. You'll watch. I think she takes down Chuck Schumer in 2026.
Chuck Schumer needs to
and
go.
just keeps campaigning and raising money.
Part of the problem. Chuck Schumer is part of the friggin' problem.
The Palestinian
Mitch
senator,
McConnell.
as he was called this week. Donald Trump called him the Palestinian senator. Chuck Schumer.
He called the Jewish man the Palestinian. Faux pas.
He did. No.
Faux pas.
Oh no, it was a brilliant shot.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, listen, even if it's AOC, I'm okay with it because Chuck Schumer needs to go.
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell needs to go. Nancy Pelosi
the red
needs
states
to go.
in the South.
All these
All
old
Republican
geezers
run.
need to go.
The red states in the South take the most from Medicaid, Medicare, welfare, food stamps, mental health issues, and all those southern states: Kentucky, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. Where else can we go?
That's the talking point.
I don't think it's a
how
talking
true
point.
that
I
is.
actually agree with that because they suck out of the system.
I'm not sure
and
how
they're
true
not the
that
brightest.
is.
Go to Mississippi. Go to New Orleans.
Do you know that Mississippi has the highest rising test scores among its students?
Good for them.
Now, you
come from zero?
When you come from zero, it's easy to get from 0 to 20 miles an hour in a car. Getting from 0 to 100, or getting from 20 to 100 after that is difficult.
What about 24?
They're doing something right in the states. We'll take
In
24.
reverse.
Look, there's a reason people are fleeing the Northeast. And
Well, they're not going to California.
States. Right. There's a reason they're leaving California to go to Texas and other states. There's a reason they're leaving New York and Massachusetts to go to Florida. And there's a reason these states are welcoming and sending planes to third world countries to bring in residents.
South Africa?
Because they need to keep.
South Africans.
Yeah, all 48. They're going to tip the census.
That's all right.
But
if you come in from South Africa, you get a hotel. You come in from Haiti, you get an airport hangar. We've treated everybody differently. Those are apartheid screwballs from South Africa.
You brought in 49 from South Africa. You brought in 49,000 from Haiti. Can we be a little honest here?
And let's be honest with the people that are bringing everybody in. Every other country in the world, perhaps more so than any, we take people with nothing and we give them shit. You go to Hungary, you make your money. You don't get free stuff. You don't get housing. You have to find your housing. You have to come prepared. You have to, come to the city and be an asset. You can't come and suck the life out of us. Millions and millions of dollars Lowell has spent on homeless shelters and homeless encampments. It's terrible.
You're not talking like a lefty.
I know. I know. But my point
is,
I'm sick of it. And that's why the Democratic Party keeps going down the shitter. And that's why AOC is going to be a problem for me, because I would be interested in a Pete Buttigieg over the guy from California.
Oh, Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom.
I think he's toast. I think he wants to be that guy.
Beto O'Rourke or whatever. He got on tables.
I would watch the Michigan governor more than.
I love him.
I think
he's up for re-election.
No, Whitmer.
The female.
Yeah.
Kristen Whitmer.
What's her name? Something with
Christine.
Christine.
I'm thinking of someone else. Another governor.
She was
male.
Well, there's the guy from Pennsylvania, Shapiro, but he'll never get the Democratic Party nomination.
He might.
He's Jewish.
He might.
He was the vice. He was going to be the vice president, and they polled and realized the leftist base will not.
We were
going to
have
vice president.
the Lehman. What's his name? I can't think of his name. From Connecticut. He was going to be the running mate.
Oh, Lieberman.
Lieberman.
Yeah.
He was going to be the running mate for Barack Obama.
Well, he was Lieberman was Al Gore's.
Oh, the other one. Okay.
Which one are you thinking about?
Myself.
Blumenthal or Murphy or?
I don't know. Never mind.
They're all. Bodor, we're old. We've seen a lot of politics, but
that was riveting stuff, folks. Sorry.
AOC for president, 2028. Mark my words. It's gonna happen. I would. An AOC JD Vance debate would be spectacular.
Oh wow,
it would be spectacular. I would make some popcorn. All right. Anything else catch your fancy this week in the news? Inside Lowell, the world around Lowell.
I think things are great. I like the world came to us this week. I liked it. I like what I saw in the city. It's hot, but I liked what I saw.
It was great. I thought you meant when everybody started kissing Donald Trump's ass at the NATO summit.
Oh, they did?
Did you see the Secretary General? Oh, my God. Yeah, now all of a sudden they're all kissing his ass. Yeah.
I didn't see it that way.
Yeah, he's the... you got to...
I've been watching.
Go look at the speeches that the secretary says. It would not be possible for the rest of the countries in Europe to up their NATO defense spending if it weren't for Donald Trump.
That's one thing he did bring to attention.
Well, he did call out. Remember, he called out in 2017 or 2018. He said, "Why is Greece paying more than Germany?" Yeah. Into NATO defense. We created NATO because of Germany, and the poor Greeks are paying more. And the Greeks were living under German austerity.
Yeah, but why did Trump have to go and say, why isn't Putin part of this? Nobody wants a war criminal.
Well, they did have it. George W. Bush and Barack Obama had it.
That's before it was wanted by the
G7, and it became the G8 under Bush and Obama, and now it's become the G spot. Yeah. Thank you. I'm here all week. Try the veal and don't forget to tip your servants. All right, let's do some feedback and wrap up this show.
Great.
Somehow, a show where we had absolutely nothing to talk about, we're at 57 minutes.
The coffee order.
Asa Stutz. This was after...
you guys were so funny.
Was it the Wednesday show?
Yes,
he said, "A nice shirt, Teddy. Was it picture day at Inside Lowell?" No, that was the only shirt I found in the hamper.
It was cute. I saw it.
Clothes. It was my little colorful short sleeve shirt. My mom had bought me that, so every now and then I throw it on for sentimental reasons.
Of course.
Michael Porter's going back to the high school borehole. Maybe we can make a reality show. Remember the Glory Hole reality show? We can have the borehole reality show.
Glory Hole. Jesus.
The borehole.
We have two. We need more holes.
Gotta drill more.
Drill, baby, drill.
Jim, Mr. Dowd, sir, I want to help. I'm telling you, if I were the referee at the council meeting, I would have thrown in the white towel. You were getting slapped around. Took a worse beating than Mike Tyson's opponents in his prime. I want to help you.
You biting the ears?
And I know you want to say it. I know.
Come on in.
I know you.
Water's fine.
I can handle the truth. Most of Lowell can handle the truth. The rest of Lowell needs to hear the truth. Come on in, Mr. Dowd. Open invitation anytime you want. Teddy Panos at InsideLowell.com. Send me an email. We can make it happen. Bring Sean Edwards with you. we took him off the milk crate. All right, Michael Porter says, perhaps the borehole reports should be released to the public that were done a while ago prior to construction, and the most recent one in April 2025 that was done over school vacation break. I agree with Asa on this for sure. Yeah, I don't even care about the borehole reports. I don't even care. I want those emails. What emails went back and forth from the MSBA and Lowell,
these rats are whistleblowers, Tilly. I mean, there's a way to look at things.
That's what I want to see.
Is this a rat or a whistleblower?
Yeah, that's it. Well, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter.
That is correct.
Right? One man's rat is another person's whistleblower.
Rats.
Yeah.
Brad Marsh, yeah, way to go.
Michael Porter also says, going back to the power outlet situation at the high school, because we had Director of Elections Will Rosenberry talk about they didn't put enough close. Maybe they're behind a wall that's going to get torn down, but we won't know. So
maybe it's in a borehole.
Somebody should have bored a hole into the wall and put a couple of electrical wires there. Going back to the power outlet situation at the high school, Skanska should fix the power outlet situation by adding more power outlets or by relocating them. No excuse really for this situation to arise. 100%, no excuse. They built a building in the 1980s that had enough electrical outlets at a time where we didn't have to charge.
Yeah, we didn't. I went there.
Or the laptops or anything else.
I'm that class.
Yeah. They built a high school now with.
We were allowed to look in the gym, not to use it or anything.
By the way, I'm sorry, but all these people raving about the gym.
Yeah. No.
It's not a $420 million gym. I'm sorry.
Oh, it isn't?
It's not a part. Well, it's not a part of a $420 million facility. It's no different than Drake's, Bill Ricko's, or any other school that's built. The field house was a bleeping gym. I remember walking into that as to play Lowell, to play basketball.
You're welcome.
And I remember, like, it was massive, it was cavernous.
Yeah.
There was a full track that you could even pull out the bleachers and you could have state track meets there. You could have state basketball tournament games there. That was a gym. That was a gym worthy of a $420 million project.
It was. I agree with that. It was the first time I felt pride, like real pride.
Take the maroon, if you're colorblind and you can't tell the difference between, maroon red or Drake's powder blue, you're in the same bleeping gym.
We dress like Chelmsford now. We wear maroon.
Exactly.
We're red.
Exactly.
Red Raiders.
Exactly.
Oh.
Anyway.
We can bitch about anything. What do you want?
What are we going to talk about today, Bodor? I got nothing.
What do you want for coffee?
I got nothing. We gave you an hour and a minute out of nothing. Leslie Bodor,
my pleasure.
As always, great to have you here. Have a great weekend. It's not going to be 150 degrees in the Shea.
Enjoy your trip to the Cape.
I'm going to be away next week. We'll catch up with you. I got to talk to you about the schedule, but it lines up for July 18th.
Okay.
All right.
What am I doing?
What else you got to do?
What am I doing?
I'll bring you in on a weekday before that.
That'd be
great. Be a weekend. So thank you for being here.
Give me purpose, Teddy.
Of course. Thanks as well to you for joining us here on the Daily Pulse, wrapping up a week here at Inside Lowell and on the Daily Pulse. As we like to say, Inside Lowell. If Lowell is your home, this is your place. Oh, and if you want to look like Lowell is your home, the Inside Lowell pop-up store is your place. Go find it on Facebook, right up in there. We've got it pinned to the top, the link to the Inside Lowell online store. You have till July 3rd to place your order. Everybody have yourself a fantastic weekend. I'll be back Monday with Greg Pappas. Nice. Abbreviated week. We'll do just a couple of shows next week, but either way, we're here for you each and every day. InsideLowell.com. Till next time, everybody stay safe. Enjoy your weekend. We'll catch you on the other side.